Sometimes the things you see in the shadows are more than just shadows. So the mag light has a certain spot where all they got to do is tap it to turn it on or off. It's just a point of finding the right spot. There you go. See that sweet spot? It's supposed to be the easiest one for them to manipulate if you find just that right spot. Because all they have to do is tap it to turn it on. They're motion activated. Hold on, let me find a flat surface. But a lot of times the spirits, they can just put their energy into it and it goes off. It doesn't have to move. When they put their energy into it, it sets off the motion activation. See? And then the laser grid, I don't know if you can see it very well. There we go. So you put it against the wall, and basically they can manipulate the different ones, and they can also if they go in front of it, they'll disappear, so you can see them. But you can do all kinds of different stuff with this. I can't do it with one hand, though. Hang on. There's all kinds of different grid patterns that you can use. See? But yeah, that's how that works. A small railroad stop was named Seligman after Jesse Seligman in 1886 in northern Arizona. He was a banker from New York who helped finance the railroad lines in that particular area. Later, that railroad town turned into a Route 66 town when travelers abandoned trains and turned to automobiles. Today, the little town of Seligman owes a lot to a man named Angel Delgadillo, who was the soft-spoken barber in the little town and led the efforts to preserve Route 66 when Interstate 40 bypassed the town in 1978. It was Angel who formed the historic Route 66 Association of Arizona. Seligman's commercial historic district in central Seligman is the Historic District. It's located along Route 66 in Seligman and was designated a historic highway by the state in 1978. The Commercial Historic District in Seligman was placed in 2005 on the National Register of Historic Places. From 1926 through 1978, Seligman was on the original U.S. Route 66 when Interstate 40 bypassed it just a few miles south. But Seligman didn't experience its real heyday until World War II ended, when veterans who returned, along with other motorists, hit the road, making the Southwest a popular tourist destination. The Commercial Historic District in the little town of Seligman is roughly bound by 1st and Lamport Street and Picacho and Railroad Aves. On February 1, 2005, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places, reference number 040000511. The purpose of the Commercial Historic District of Seligman is to protect the historic early 20th century buildings in the central area along historic Route 66, which is a revived and popular tourist destination. The contributing properties of the Historic District include the Pitts General Merchandise Store, the U.S. Post Office from 1903, the Pioneer Hall and Theater, the Seligman Pool Hall from 1923, and the Seligman Garage from 1905. Due to the efforts of local residents who were the ones to convince Arizona State to dedicate Route 66 a local highway in 1987, the town of Seligman finally gained its name as the birthplace of historic Route 66. The little town is the first westbound stop on the longest uninterrupted stretch of the historic highway, which runs about 160 miles to Topak, east of the Colorado River. On November 26, 1926, the U.S. Congress established what is known as Route 66, starting in Chicago, Illinois, and ending in Los Angeles, California. On April 30, 1926, in Springfield, Missouri, the first sign was finally posted recognizing this destination. Believe it or not, to pave the full route in its entirety took over a decade. Today, the little town of Seligman owes a lot to the soft-spoken local barber who led the efforts to preserve Route 66, a man by the name of Angel Delgadillo. In 1978, when Interstate 40 bypassed the small town, he was the one who formed the historic Route 66 Association of Arizona. When the state acknowledged the stretch of road from Seligman to Kingman as historic Route 66 in 1987, Seligman finally became the birthplace of historic Route 66. This designation regenerated interest in Route 66's old-fashioned Americana. The longest surviving section, which runs 160 miles to Tobacco, Arizona, of America's iconic Mother Road, starts and remains in the small town of Seligman. The town that embraces yesteryear. The town you can get your kicks and your knickknacks from, with its many quirky and colorful gift shops that sell things like license plates and road signs, records that sound best while wearing a poodle skirt, James Dean and Elvis everything, Marilyn Monroe, and many other well-known collectibles, as well as the largest selection of soda shop classic Coca-Cola memorabilia I've ever seen. Some of these shops, to name a few, are Angel and Vilma Delgadillo's original Route 66 gift shop, the Rusty Bolt, which is one of my personal favorites, Return to the 50s, the historic Seligman Sundries, and the Route 66 Hippie Cricket. Directly west of the Roadkill Cafe on the western end of town is a mock-up of the old western towns that you see in movies. None of these stores have actual working businesses in them, but it is made up of 5 storefronts and called the Seligman Depot. The quote-unquote businesses are labeled as follows. There's a library, tonsorial parlor, which was a dentist, a Wells Fargo bank, a hotel, and a gun shop. Between the Roadkill Cafe and this depot is a little log cabin with a white sign above the doorway that reads jail. There's also a painted metal sign in front of this cabin that declares it to be the 1860 Arizona Territorial Jail. Now, one should keep in mind that Seligman itself wasn't even established until 1886, and the Arizona Territory didn't even exist until 1863. Yet the sign in front of this little cabin claims that in 1866, 4 Indians escaped this particular little cabin by tunneling from its tiny cell to the OK Saloon, and just 4 days after, they had a shootout with Marshal Carl Curly Bain and ended up boots up. The sign also claims that this little jail once held notorious outlaws such as Three Finger Jack, James Younger, Seligman Sam, and many more. However, this list of supposed outlaws, the Marshal, and the Indian jail escapees are all made up in an effort to attract tourists. There's no local or other documentation to prove any authenticity to any of the property. Visitors are left to believe what they wish. Located behind this jail, there's also a buffalo and a corral for tourist viewing during the summer months, adding to the charm of this little park. Now, I found a story on a website called Ghosts of America while researching the town. The story on this site was about this particular jail, and was what made me want to come check it out myself and test out my new equipment for the first time. The story was from a lady who was traveling west with her husband on Route 66 while on vacation. They made a stop in Seligman for a bathroom break and food on their way home to California. The whole town looked closed. They saw not a soul, but noticed the old jail. So they went in to look. She described the room with furnishings of antiques, like a potbelly stove, a desk, a very old wooden chandelier hanging from the ceiling, and a stool, which was inside the cell in the back of half of the room. She decided to take a picture since nobody seemed to be around. A fierce wind had picked up. her husband was struggling with it as he tried to hold the door open. He then warned her of a dirt devil heading straight for them, so they entered the tiny room and waited for it to pass. After it had safely passed, her husband once again held the door open as she took a picture of the inside of the one-room cell. Before leaving, she took another pic of the outside. When they finally got settled back home in California about a week later, she finally got the pictures developed. She was excited to see how the pic of the outside turned out, not giving much thought to the next pic she had taken inside the cell. When she did see it, she turned to her husband and asked if he remembered anyone else being in the cell when she took the photo. He laughed as he remembered how empty the town had been. She then told him that according to the picture she took, they may not have known it, but they were not alone. Both amazed by this realization, they studied the photo, which clearly showed what looked like a cowboy, who was sitting on the wooden stool in the back of the cell. You could visibly see the wide brim of his cowboy hat. His head was down with the chin to his neck. Lying on the floor in front of him appeared to be a rifle. The woman was shocked. So she went back to the store with her negatives and had them develop that same picture again. She asked them to enlarge it this time to get a better view of the ghost. Once enlarged, she was surprised that the only differences were the size of the pic and that now she could see that this cowboy was transparent. She also noticed some of the sand from the windstorm swirling in the air, leading her to think maybe that's all it was, sand, until she remembered the pic wasn't even taken until after the sandstorm had come and gone. She had since tried to debunk the pic in so many ways and times to no avail, finally being forced to accept the fact it truly was a ghost. So, ladies and gentlemen, this territorial jail is where we are going to be testing my new equipment. I know they say that it's not supposed to be haunted, but as you'll see, I'm sure they didn't intend it to be, but it's freaking haunted. So, without further ado, let's get on with the investigation. This is the old jail in Seligman. Just went through the gate. I'm now officially in jail. Looks like 2 beds, not much more. Wow, are those orbs? Could be dust, could be orbs. Just gonna get some equipment out. Hold on. Alright, so I've set up the flashlight and the cat balls, the EMF, and another cat ball on this bench. Oh, that one just went off. Okay, I'd say that's a definite yes. If there's anybody here, can you turn that flashlight on? All you have to do is tap it. Just give it a tap. And that's how it works. And you notice the cat ball didn't go off, and I was hitting that pretty good, so that definitely went off from something else. If there's anybody here, can you turn that flashlight on like I just showed you? Or put your energy into one of these cat balls, make those go off. Or that little green light over there, can you make that spike? Maybe make it go to, if you get close to it, you can put your energy into it. Make it go from green to yellow to red. Cat ball went off again. You guys, this is stone. There's no way it's picking up vibrations from me walking. Thank you for that. Can you make that flashlight go on? All you gotta do is get close to it, give it a little tap. I'm opening the line of communication with these devices. If anyone would like their story known, wants to get something out. There's another cat ball over there, since you seem to like the cat balls. I might get the spirit box out. Hold on. It's like the 4th time that's gone off. But I think that could have been the spirit box. I'm going to put it on here instead. You can speak into that device. Use your words. Flashlight. Hi. Were you a prisoner here? If you were, can you turn off that flashlight? Were you a sheriff? Hey, Sheriff, howdy. Are you stuck here? If you're stuck here, you can turn it on. If you just like to be here, alright, you set off that cat ball again. That little flashy ball that you set off a couple of times. Or you can, you can also speak into this device right here, and I can hear you. Maybe I'll change the sweep rate. Anything you want to say, the floor is yours. Did you catch a lot of bad guys here? If you did, can you turn on that flashlight again? Or say something through that... Oh, thank you. That's really good. Any chance you could make that EMF meter go off? That's that little green dot over there. Can you make it go to yellow or red? All you gotta do is get close to it and put your energy into it. No? Seems like you really like the flashlight. Did you die in this jail? Were you killed in the line of duty? If you were, can you turn on that flashlight again? Did you die of natural causes? If you died of natural causes, thank you. You can say hi through this box right here, and I can hear your voice. Would you like that? You can say hi through it as well. My name is Butterfly. I heard you a little bit. Can you speak a little clearer? Can you say hi? Are you okay with me being here? If you are, can you turn on that flashlight? Or the cat ball? If you want me to leave, can you turn on the flashlight? Or the cat ball? I'll give you 15 seconds. Four, three, two, one. Okay. I will respect that. I'll turn off the spirit box and get a little more footage, and then I will be out of your hair. How does that sound? I'll leave. That sounds good. Turn off that flashlight again. Give me 15 seconds. Almost. Okay. Alright, so as I promised him, I'm going to leave. I just wanted to take a little bit more video of the jail cell. Oh, something just flew by. This must have sucked. Flashlight's back on. Wow. Dust or orbs? You guys can decide. Look at them all. Wow. If I'm taking too long, will you turn off that flashlight? Alrighty then, I just got goosebumps all over. Look. Okay, goosebumps. Okay. I'm out of here. Thank you for talking to me, Sheriff. Whatever's here, you can't stay, or you can't come with me. You have to stay here. I'm sorry, but you cannot follow me. You have to stay right here. If you understand that, can you turn that flashlight back on one more time? Or set off that cat ball? Alright, well, thanks for talking to me. Maybe I'll see you again sometime.